even pay attention to the pressure that what I just said is if you would be the first African-American president? I mean, do you think about that, or is that not an issue?
You know, just being the president, that's pressure enough.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I spend most of my time just thinking about how can I communicate a message of change? Because I think, you know, people are really frustrated with the gridlock and the pettiness of politics, and you know, part of the reason why you may not pay attention to politics a lot is sometimes it's depressing because it doesn't seem like we get a lot of stuff done.
Right.
And so, you know, what I'm trying to do is during this campaign to figure out how can we bring people together around issues like healthcare, global warming, and giving a better education for our kids, and how can we overcome some of the special interests and the lobbyists that tend to dominate our politics.
Did you realize you were making history and you would have such an impact across the world?
I, you know, understood in some capacity that I was making history as the youngest inaugural poet. I didn't know really what that history would look like or the impact it would have. I just remember finishing, going back to my holding room and just swiping up my Instagram. I wonder what people are saying. And just my apps, my phone not functioning. My phone was basically a brick. Like all the apps that I typically use had crashed. I couldn't, you know, look at my photos or anything like that. And I hadn't expected that. I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a few thousand more followers. To get millions and millions of followers in under 48 hours was just, I think that was the moment when I went, wow, this has really touched people in a way that I did not predict.
President Obama said protesting is a part of making change. Do you agree with that, and why is that so important?
Ellen, I truly agree with it. Look, as a 27-year law enforcement officer, I've worked a lot of protests. And, you know, a lot of people, when they see a tragedy occur, they'll call and say, what can I do? What can I do? And, you know, everybody has different abilities, different talents, different skills, different input. Protesting has always been a way in this country for individuals to get involved. For some, they feel that's what I can do. Tell me what I can do. Protesting, that's what I can do. And we know that Dr. King said that protesting is the language of the unheard.
We love our country. And part of being a patriot, love of country, is about fighting for the ideals of our country, fighting for the best of who we are. We are a great people. We are a great country. And it is part of loving our country to say, you know what? I believe those words we spoke in 1776, that we are all equal and should be treated that way.
Yep.
I believe those words. I believe those words. And I will march and I will fight to make those words true. And I will do that joyfully.
Yes, and you will do it joyfully. So, you know, Kamala Harris walked out to your song, Work That, the night that she and Joe Biden were officially declared the winners of the election. How cool is that, and how honored were you that that's the song that they walked out to?
And beyond honored, it's the coolest thing, you know, next to getting 2 Oscar nominations that could have happened to me in my career. When the first time it happened, so many people was calling me, like when she was on her campaign trail, people would, Mary, she's doing it again. She's doing it again. I was like, what's going on? And so when it happened, you know, when she won, you know, for vice president, I said, I'm not going to miss it this time. And I saw her walk out and I was like, wow. And she walked out to Work That.
This is what Oprah said when she was asked what gives her hope.
Yara Shahidi, of course. I hope I'm still around when she becomes president of the United States. That is going to happen if she wants it to happen.
Is that something, I mean, would you go into politics? Would you want to be president?
I want to be policy adjacent. So I think I don't want to be in the White House, but right next to it would be fun.
What? But no, we want you in. That we're saying we need you in.
This is my thought, though. I feel like there's so many ways to influence policy that is not theoretically in a political position. And so maybe think tank is kind of where I want to be.
I get it. And I don't blame you for not wanting to be president. You're smart. That's what I thought you'd say.
I always felt like representation was so key. And being a little girl in my grandmother's living room, learning the 1-2 step, goodies, like from literally the earliest memories that I have, like you were a part of that and you really helped shape the artist and the woman that I felt like I could be. You know, you opened my mind to those possibilities, like
Oh my gosh.
Black girl magic.
Yeah, don't make me cry.
Oh, I love you.
That is so awesome.
Yes, I love
Thank you. That means a lot. Sorry, guys, I get really emotional here.
What gives you the idea to all of a sudden turn a nightclub into a grocery store?
There were long lines outside of grocery stores. You couldn't get in. You had to wait in line. The community, they began to keep pop-up shops, farmer markets, Black-owned businesses were getting together. So that became a place where I would go and shop. Good services, good products that they had. I would go and order my products. They would give them to me, or I can order them and they'll deliver it. They had different services, and I began to say to myself, why aren't these products in some of these big block stores? You might see a corner of a shelf inside of the entire market where there's Black products on the shelf. So I said to myself, what if I come up with a platform? What if I create a store and a platform for people who cannot get their products inside of these stores? What if I create it myself?
You're playing a Black male educator on TV. And for me, even coming up, I only had like a few, like very few, and I just think that representation is so important. And is that important to you as well?
Oh, it's the reason why I became a part of the show. When Quinta, you know, she wrote the show, she stars in the show, she pitched it to me. That was one of the things she pitched, was the importance of validating the Black male experience and rearing the next generation. It's, you know, in this Hollywood sphere, there's a lot of jobs that are like considered sexy and attractive, but teacher doesn't come up often. And it's like the most important job that one can take on and have. It's admirable work.
Absolutely.
And if we can, you know, contribute in that conversation, I think we can, you know, shape a better future for ourselves.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I'm just, our whole house has become a classroom, really.
What are you teaching them right now? What are you working on?
Well, they both do online work with their classes, but I've also been really trying to use this time to teach them things that may not be on the curriculum. Like all summer we did, first we did planets, and then we were doing continents, but with a focus on Africa. So I was walking them through lots of different African cultures, the Nubians, the Maasai warriors, Egyptian culture, and just like scouring the internet for like projects I could do with them and children's books about those cultures to really immerse them. You know, I think a lot of times kids, when they're learning about Black history in particular, you learn about like civil rights and the Jim Crow era. You learn about all the things that Black people were told we couldn't do. So I thought it was really important to kind of immerse them in the rich culture of who Black people are and were even before the Martin Luther Kings and the you know, all of the great civil rights leaders.
Very cool. That's amazing.
I know, I was like, why? It feels like we're losing so many of our heroes this year, you know, John Lewis and Chadwick Boseman. It just is like, how is this possible? And I really do think there's something about the idea that we're being invited to realize that our heroes are human, which means that we all have the capacity to be the heroes of our communities and our lives and our story. You know, like the time for hero worship is maybe coming to an end, and it's time for us to all stand up and serve. Like these singular people can't shoulder all the weight.